welcome to another episode of Intuitive Creator Spotlight. I am Stella, your host, and I'm delighted to have here amazing guests who share their stories because on their life path they chose to embrace their mission, their passion, transform their life, and now they decided to help other people transform their lives too. Today I have with me the amazing Tamsin. Tamsin has been teaching yoga for nearly 20 years, with her journey beginning in India in 2004, 2005. I can't wait for her to share more about that. So she has a deep passion for helping others relax and connect with themselves. She uses tools like yoga, breathing, meditation, sound, and even the magic of color therapy. I can't wait to talk about all of this and more with you, Tamsin. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Stella. That was lovely introduction. Thank you very much. Lovely to be here to chat to you. Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you here. And I know that, yes, you use a set of techniques and tools to help other people now. And I know that your clients receive so much beauty and calm and magic and healing from your work. But like everything, it started from somewhere. So I know that there were some moments in your childhood that were as a catalyst for your healing journey. Can you please tell us how this journey started for you now that you're at this stage in your life? If you think back, where do you think it all started?
Well, it all started from having a little bit of a disjointed childhood with my parents splitting when I was very young and moving a lot from place to place and feeling very ungrounded and also ending up being bullied quite a lot at school and feeling like outsider and having a lot of stress. My parents were great, but just the environment around me was quite stressful. Yeah, so I ended up in my teenage years going quite wild and lots of parties, lots of traveling, but also just lots of inhibitions and having panic attacks and not wanting to be in groups of people, but but still like wanting to do a lot of stuff, just still having a lot of passion to travel, and I like one-on-one contact, but not groups, and yeah, but just feeling like yeah, doing a lot of partying, feeling like I'm gonna have a lot of excitement in my life, and then ending up having stomach ulcers at 22. Um,
So in your childhood, I know that we've known each other for a while, and I know that we talked at some point about like throat chakra and how you had to overcome these obstacles to communicate with people around you. And I know that you actually, as a child, you developed your own mechanism to cope with those things. How do you feel now about that younger version of yourself who was so brave to actually create those mechanisms?
because of moving around a lot and growing and going to school in certain places, like I didn't speak like the other children, I didn't look like the other children, and I used to get a lot of stick because of that. So yeah, I would learn to speak in sort of different accents, but also the mechanism that I learned was if I didn't speak, I seemed to get more, attention, or kids would play with me if I was quieter. Whereas when they heard me speak, I was all of a sudden like a bit of a weirdo. So yeah, so I developed mechanisms to be really quiet and a little bit more withdrawn, and but then also getting into, stuff that I wouldn't normally want to get into just to fit in as well. So
Yes, and what the younger version of yourself was so brave to be so creative and understand that, at that point for you, this is what it worked to be
yeah.
more silent, to be quiet, and then that's how you felt like, it was easier to integrate in those groups.
Yeah. And
If you
also, I used to hide away. I remember now. I used to hide away in the art room.
Oh,
So I used to go to the art room at breaks and dinner, to and do art. I enjoyed my art teacher was amazing, and that would prevent me to be in the hall or the lockers or the playground with the other kids, and that kind of was like a little bit of a protection mechanism as well.
And
Yeah.
so that's not a coincidence that you love color so much
Yeah.
now, because you know that it is something that connects you with your own creativity and intuition. And if you were to share a message with the younger version of yourself now, what would you tell her?
To be brave, to follow your own path, to find the things that light you up, and not to worry about what other people think. Just go for it. And yeah, just go for it basically. And yeah, it's confidence has been a big thing for me. So to be brave, be brave.
And you've come a
Be yourself,
be yourself.
no
I
matter
love.
what. No matter what anyone else says, whether they scorn you, hate you, ridicule you, just be yourself.
I love that. And then, not only that, you mentioned you moved around quite a bit when you were a child. You then decided to move temporarily to India for further training and to really explore what's there for you. Why was your journey to India transformative for you?
Well, I had wanted to go to India for a long time. Throughout my travels, I met people that had traveled around India. Throughout the people that I used to meet when I was like, young and sort of young adult, my informative years, had told me stories of traveling in India. And so I had always like wanted to go, but I was always kind of waiting for the right person to travel around with. So it took a while, and then I really started to get into yoga in Britain, and decided while I was studying a degree in art in three-dimensional design that I wanted to be a yoga teacher. So the best place that I thought to go to learn yoga is the place that it's from, one of the places that it's from anyway. And no one really came along to travel with, you know. So I just thought, right, I'm going to go and do it on my own. So it took a while to have the courage to do it. But yeah, I went off traveling for 6 months around India. Um, and each different place, I traveled all around India, and each different place that I went to a different yoga school or yoga class. Everywhere I went, it was like traveling, yoga, sea, uh, monuments. Obviously, I like, learn a lot about the culture as well, and met lots of different travelers too. And then I kind of, in that 6 months travel, I decided where I wanted to go to study to be a yoga teacher. Came back to Britain, earned a bit more money for my yoga teacher training course over the summer, and then went back and stayed on a yoga ashram in Kerala to study to be a yoga teacher. Yeah, and it was amazing to be there because you kind of like, instead of doing once a month over a couple of years, studying to be a teacher, but while living in a Western culture and still having to carry on with your normal life. Like when you do it in that way, you go there and you literally live the life of yoga. Basically, you're getting up and you're doing your tapas, which is like um, work, which is for the good of everyone, which is, you know, free work. It's like voluntary, but it's for the good of the whole ashram. It's for the good of everyone. You're doing the yogic chanting, you're doing the meditation, you're doing the yoga asana as well, because that is only part of yoga is the asana that we know so well in the West. And yeah, just and the yogic food, the Ayurveda, yeah, just totally chucking yourself into that lifestyle, and it changes you uh, really quite profoundly. I think compared to obviously it changes you doing every month or every couple of months, it will still change you, but it's just that real like high intensity
Mm.
feeling of living the lifestyle.
Wow, there is nothing more powerful than, deciding that you want to focus fully on something, a specific experience or learning something, and then just to immerse yourself in that experience because I feel like this helps anyone really to learn those things faster, not just at a like logical level or like that's the step by step, but also to embody it energetically and then to be able to radiate it into the world. So, as you were traveling in India and learning all of these different things, what were your thoughts? Were you thinking that you're going to come back to the UK and start teaching it right away? Or did you think, well, I still need some time, I still need to kind of discover myself?
Yeah. Well, I was terrified to teach in front of a huge group of people, as you can probably imagine from what I had said before. Um, but I remember this one of the swamis in the ashram saying to me, just like take yourself out of it. The fear is your ego. Uh, all the teachings are coming through you from other teachers, from everyone, to the teachers here, the teachers that have brought these teachings from to us, and everything's coming through. So you're kind of channeling that. The information isn't coming from you, and just allow that to come through. And that's what really, really helped me. And to be able to go into a room full of 50 people from all around the world in India, you know, was a huge like thing that was quite scary, but I did it. I
You
did
did
it.
it.
Um, yeah, so it's great. One of the things that they used to do was every Saturday we'd have like a talent evening, and everyone that was studying to be a teacher needed to do something like the talent show. So you'd like have something that you do to get on stage to go and like bust your fears and get up there and do something. So that was a really good training as well. Uh,
Mm. I
yeah,
love that advice though, when you said you have to take yourself out of it because this is a great thought to have, especially when you're like, oh my God, I'm just about to do something and I don't know exactly how I'm going to go through it. Especially that when we are of service, isn't it interesting how then there is a moment when you realize, yes, it's all my teachings, all my experiences, but like you mentioned, you also channel something that's invisible. And sometimes while being of service, we might surprise ourselves to share things that we think, where is this even coming from? Or in your work, doing yoga, and maybe somebody's like, well, I can't do this pose. And suddenly, even if you didn't see something like that before, you'll feel like, oh, actually, try this or try that. And that's because it's like you're channeling this entire knowledge, wisdom that so many people before us as well worked on. Um, And I'm really, really happy to hear this part of your journey that even though, it was so scary for you to be in that room of 50 people, you did it. And look at where you are now. You have classes in person, you do have a membership online as well. How do you feel when people are coming into your space now, say in person to have those classes, and you're holding the space for them?
Mhm. It's funny looking back at the time when I was so fearful, because obviously now it's like it's second skin. It's totally natural. But yeah, so going back to that time from India, like channeling that energy and just facing my fears. I've always been like that. Everything that I find fearful, I it's almost like I'm drawn towards the stuff that makes me feel fearful because I want to overcome it. I've always wanted to overcome stuff in my life, and I've always like set myself a kind of something to work towards to get to the other side of. And I kind of, it's almost like I'm ticking off a list, right? This is something that I'm really fearful for, so I'm going to go. It's like almost like I'm like a fly to the fear, right? I'm
Yeah.
fearful of that, so I'm going to like attract myself towards that, and then I'm going to tick that off because I've got over that fear. It's like something a little bit like that. And then coming back to Britain with all this new knowledge and experience, it was very difficult to integrate it with life. I was living in Brighton at the time. I lived there for 12 years. Lifestyle in Brighton and the yogic lifestyle, trying to link those and bring them together it took me a while. And no, I didn't really go into teaching regularly when I first came back to the UK. It took me a while. I even got distracted again and sort of didn't really know what I was going to be doing. Maybe I thought that I was going to go back into doing my artwork and stuff like that. And it was kind of like a bit of a balancing act at first. Yeah, so now I still get a little fearful sometimes. Like, say
Mhm.
if I've got something new, coming up, or I've opened a new class and everyone in the class is new, I still get a little bit like, oh, but I know that that's because it's important to me. It's something that's important
Yeah.
to me, and
Oh, I love that.
I want to
Yeah.
do the best that I can in that
Mhm.
session with everyone. And it's more like when you have lots of new people all at once, and you need to keep a lookout for everybody. You need to remember everyone's names, and you need to kind of sort of at least remember what everyone's ailments are as well.
Yeah.
And keeping an eye on everyone. But I mean, it takes time to sort of get to know people and to know what's going on. But hopefully I do. I think well, my students tell me I do a very good job.
Well,
So
you've been doing that for 2 decades. I know you said you
yeah,
didn't like teach right away, but still
yeah,
you were already in that energy of
yeah.
learning and sharing with other people. And I
I
love
didn't
what you.
teach as in regular classes, but I was still teaching sort of some stand-in yoga classes, and then I was teaching little classes to my friends or little like bits and pieces. So I was still teaching and learning, and yeah.
Yeah, and I loved what you said about you know what, I find it fascinating to just do things and then prove to myself that, like you said, you like to try new things to overcome them and to kind of give to your brain the evidence that you can go through those experiences and learn something new and then apply that in your life as well. And I think the more we do that, like the more we provide this evidence to our brain, the easier it becomes when we want to learn something else or when we go to new places. So I know that color therapy is a big part in your work. When did you realize that actually this is really helpful, is very healing, and you want to do more of it?
So I got into color therapy quite a while. In fact, I got into color therapy before I went to university in Brighton, before I studied to be a yoga teacher. I'd been single for 5 years, and I felt really blocked in my heart space. And I went to this lovely color therapy workshop with my sister, in fact. Um, and I found it really, the little color meditations that we did were really profoundly affected, like really profoundly affected me. And it was like a really powerful experience. And so I went on with this teacher and did some training with her and did some, first of all, I had some treatments from her, and then I did a little bit more training and did some more workshops. And then I obviously got all the color therapy books and was reading all about them, and a specific kind of color that I was like visualizing quite a lot. And it was really weird because I'd been single for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden I met someone. And I just felt like it was quite a lot to do with the healing properties from the color therapy that helped me to open up to this new relationship. I mean, that was a long time ago now. We're not together anymore, but it was like really healing. And then obviously with the yoga, you have the chakra system as well. So that went really well. They're slightly different systems, the color therapy system and the chakra system, but that's the 7 main energy centers within the yogic system. And the 7 main colors as well. So the color therapy went really well with the yoga. Some yogis are like, oh, but or some therapists are like, oh, but you can't really see the energies, you can't really see the color. It's not like real, it's not really very scientific, but it's just the feeling that I got from the colors. That I don't know, you kind of have this knowing that the energies, that each energy is there, each color can give you a different mood, can make you feel a different way. We all are attracted to different colors throughout our life, depending on what we need or like. We surround
Mhm.
ourselves in color. Color can be important in what we wear, also what we eat. Foods have different colors and different energies. Yeah, and also my art, when you're an artist as well, you have color in your life, you have the color chart. So yeah, it's a really important aspect of the healing process, I think.
I totally agree with you because, even if you think about, say, you want to go somewhere and you want to just put something on, there might be times when you take a jacket or a top or whatever and you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm not really feeling this color today. And then you go and change it. And that tells everyone that actually, yes, the color that you wear, it really, really helps to kind of shift the mood if you need to shift the mood, or to just bring a new type of energy into your life. Even if we don't have those numbers and all the studies all the time, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect. Just like, telling someone, oh, just go for a walk, take a deep breath in, breathe some fresh air. Like, you don't necessarily need to have scientific proof that this breath will help you in that moment, but yet you go outside, you walk for 5 minutes, you take in that fresh air, and then suddenly you feel lighter and you feel better. And I think art is such an important aspect in our human existence because it's that element that connects us with the divine, and that's how we eventually can channel so much that we can then use in our human experience. And if you think about it, everything that is around us has been invented, it has been created by connecting with this divine power. And I think, like you mentioned, color has a huge role in that. So thank you so much for sharing this. So I also know that you're using sound in your healing. This is another really, really powerful aspect of healing. Why has it been powerful for you?
So yeah, so sound is something that's been really important. I've always loved singing, but then being studying yoga again through the energy, 7 main energy centers, each one has a sound and a resonance. They're called seed sounds. Um, Also, when I remember when I was first on the ashram in India and we're doing the chanting, and I'm like, oh my God, we're all chanting all these like names of Indian gods and stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing this. But then I realized, that it was just a really lovely thing to do and made you feel amazing. And each Indian god or goddess is like it's not like I see them more as a story, like they're a manifestation of a different personality or energy as well. Just like it's don't have to believe that that is an actual god that's out there that actually exists. I'm sure that some people do, but yeah, just the imagery from the kind of energy that you're provoking from chanting the Indian chant is amazing.
Do you practice these chants in your day-to-day life?
Sometimes I do, yes.
Mm.
I just love, it's good like an exercise for the throat. So yeah, I know a few chants from doing quite a lot of chanting in India, but I love the seed sounds. Each chakra area has a seed sound, and they you can really bring that sound from those different areas, and I do teach those sometimes within my yoga. Maybe not so much in the yoga classes, but when we do workshops and maybe sometimes a little bit here and there. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
And
Would you like to?
I've actually decided to, that last year I really was chucking myself into my business, growing my business, having my membership, um, making a lot of connections, my entrepreneurial ship. But this year I'm like standing back a little bit and I've thought, what do I really enjoy more than anything else? And that's singing. And there's a singing group near me and I'm going to go and join it. So yeah,
That's exciting, and
my new
yes,
little thing that I'm gonna do.
sometimes you just have to follow that calling that comes
Yeah.
from within,
And you
and
were talking about earlier the throat chakra and feeling
mhm.
very blocked there and quietening myself down to be more accepted in my friendship groups. And well, not that I had any really many friends or any when I was at school, but like, yeah, just allowing that, that that expression and that sound, and I think to do the singing would be amazing. I used to
Mm.
be in a band when I was a bit younger before I had my kids. And I used to love going to band practice and I used to write my own songs.
Oh.
And it was really lovely doing band practice with my friends, and they were all really good musicians. And then they decided that we're going to have a gig. And I'm like,
Mm.
no way, I'm not doing a gig. I'm too scared. No, I just liked coming to band practice and I liked to sing. And I felt like I let them all down because I was not going to go on stage and sing in front of anyone. And I
It
kind of
has.
regret that because now, if that was to be now, I would definitely go and do the gig.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, it's never too late, and then you said you're gonna go and sing locally, with a group of people. So that's amazing. So if there is someone who's watching us and they say, okay, so what about if I go through like a moment where I feel that I'm anxious or something doesn't work in my life or some sort of a blockage? Is there an example of a sound that somebody can do or use in order to kind of allow for that energy to flow?
Well, I mean, I before I was doing my live sessions on my online challenge, going through the seed sounds was really, really helpful because after you have gone through the seed sounds and chanted them a few times, it really, really calms you down. And that is one of the meditations that I have put together. that is in one of my challenges, my 5 days to deep calm challenge. But yeah, so I mean, you could go straight to the heart space with, because the anxiety quite often, like just, so just for a quick example, rather than going through the whole thing, but saying like the heart space, quite often the anxiety is here in the heart and your heart starts beating a little faster. So the heart space could be quite a good one to start with. Obviously, as well, the chemicals, they go into your brain and your brain starts to think thoughts. And so it's kind of a mixture between the two. So I think the heart space, that's the seed sound is yam. So you could just be chanting like a yam. While you're doing that, just, you do that a few times and then you relax out the heart and just really feel the vibration in the heart while you're chanting. And it really does help and to kind of just settle you down. Okay. And then there's the throat. So I think these, for nervousness and anxiety, these three main higher areas, because it's quite often in your head, are probably the sounds I go with straight away. So here we've got ham in the throat, so it'd be to maybe chant a few times. And I just feel lovely and relaxed after that.
Oh, that's so
And
beautiful.
then I chant this nearly at the end of each yoga session, is the Om, because Om is what yogis believe was a sound that was created as the big start of the universe. And when we go for a yoga class, it's like we're going through each, if we're doing classical yoga, we're going through each energy throughout the session. So each pose would go through each energy. So at the end of the session, you've gone through each energy, you've opened out all the energies, and it's like we start from the beginning, like a rebirth, and then we go through all the energies, and then we come back to the beginning again. So I always finish off the yoga session with an Om, well, it's Am, but quite often pronounced Om, and that's like just before you're coming out of the relaxation. It's like beginning again, bringing fresh again, and that's here. And most people will know this because it's quite, if you're studying yoga or if you're going to yoga, well, maybe not actually, because a lot of yoga teachers are only teaching the asana part of yoga. But yeah, so here, the third eye, the sound for the beginning of the universe or the rebirth is Om. So it's yeah, and it just, even when you just do that one time, it just brings you into this lovely, relaxed.
Oh, this was so beautiful, Tamsin. And I know that your challenges that you mentioned, they bring this calm, relaxing energy. And when we hear in this busy world, like, hey, calm, let's tune into more calm, it may sound like, yeah, I can be calm. Yeah, I can just close everything and just be calm. But actually doing some practices to bring yourself into that space can really help create even more calm and in that deep relaxation. And I'm so grateful you shared these sounds with us because if someone is watching us and thinking, well, actually, I want to practice this more, they can go back and watch this on replay again. And to everyone who's watching us, just double check or check the description in this video to see how you can connect with Tamsin, with her beautiful work. Just see what she has ongoing at the moment of you watching this video, and let us know your thoughts, like this video as you're watching it. So Tamsin, if you were to share one thought as we're wrapping up this episode, if you were to share maybe a thought or a piece of advice to everyone who's thinking, well, actually, I've been living a very busy life and I am ready to start taking those small steps to bring this calm and relaxation in my life, maybe through color, sound, or movement. What would be the first step or the first few steps that they can start implementing today?
So, I mean, breathing as well, taking some 3 deep breaths. So inhale, exhale, relaxing. That's so important. Breathing, some of the yogic breathing exercises have been scientifically proven to really, really calm you down. So you have the breathing, you have the sound, you have the color, you have the yoga asana, you have the relaxation. Um, so what would people get so busy in their lives and so stressed, and life is hard, but it doesn't have to be so hard if you give yourself just that little bit of time to, go to go to a yoga space or session or teacher that isn't just teaching the asana, because that's only part of yoga, the exercise. Yes, it's amazing to have a body that fits in and is flexible and can do particular shapes and move and be fit and healthy. But the breathing and the meditation and the sound and the color, yeah, just find someone that brings all of those elements into the practice, because it makes such a difference.
It really does. And to everyone who's watching us, if you resonate with everything that Tamsin shared with you today, just connect with her and see more about her amazing work. Thank you so much, Tamsin, for being my amazing guest today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, your advice, and sharing that beautiful sound with us as well. And thank you to everyone who has watched this episode. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like this video, and let us know your thoughts. And I can't wait to see you again next time. Thank you. Bye.